children. So today in this video we are going to learn a new grammar topic, that is modals. So before we start, let's read this piece of conversation given over here between Rakhi and her teacher. Observe the function of the highlighted words as given below. Let's begin. Rakhi: may I come in, ma'am? Teacher: you must not be late for class. Rakhi: I'm sorry, ma'am. I had to meet the maths teacher, but I couldn't find her, so I got late. It will not happen again. Teacher: very well, but you ought to excuse yourself first. So, my dear children, here you can see a few words in red, isn't it? So these highlighted words, they tell us more about the mood or attitude of the speaker. Fine. So when these words express the mood or attitude of the speaker, these words are called modals. Okay? Like when you want to enter a class, what do you say? May I come in, ma'am? Isn't it? So that is the formal way of taking permission, and even polite too. So in order to take permission to come inside the class, what do you all use? You use may. Okay? May I go to washroom, ma'am? Again, to take permission. So for formal permission, what we use? May. Isn't it? Must, for necessity. Okay, so these words highlighted or in red are called modals. So modals are those helping verbs which express the mood means manner or attitude of the speaker. Okay, so it expresses what? It expresses mood or attitude of the speaker indicated by the main verb. They express mood such as ability, manner, possibility, permission, probability, obligation, duty, what is called as duty, etc. The most commonly used modals are shall, should, will, would, can, could, may, might, ought to, used to, need, and did. So we are going to learn these modals in this video. As I told you, what are modals? Modals are those helping verbs. Okay, this is a kind of helping verbs, my dear children. You have heard about helping verbs. Helping verbs are categorized into two. They are of two kinds, that is primary auxiliaries and modal auxiliaries. So we are going to learn about it one by one. Okay. So here, as you can see, this is the chart for primary auxiliaries. Okay, as I told you that it is divided into two, that is primary auxiliary and modal auxiliaries. So here first we will learn the forms of primary auxiliaries, my dear children, which also functions as helping verb in a sentence. Fine. So let's read. BEB. Okay, the forms of BEB, many a time, you get such kind of questions like in bracket, this word is given and you have to use the form of this word, that is BEB. So in present it has the forms like is, am, are, and in past it has the forms like was, were. Okay, it is not where, it is were. Fine. And where it is used? It functions and it is used in continuous tense, like I am eating. Okay, he is running. And it is used in passive, okay, while forming passive voice, my dear children, and to denote a command or a. Then can see the example. I am writing a letter. So am, I subject in tenses you have learned. With I we use am plus V4 form of the verb and a letter, that is object. This is the basic structure, my dear children. Okay, now next, it is also used in the passive form. Okay, these forms of be are used in passive form. The door was opened by Shyam. Okay, the active voice would have been Shyam opened the door. When we change the sentence or transform it in passive voice, it becomes the door, that is the object becomes the subject. The door was, and you can see the use of this helping verb was over here. Was plus V3 of open, that is opened. Okay, opened by Shyam. Then again, to denote a command or a plan, you are to leave right now. So you can see you are to leave right now. And we all know that in case of imperative sentence, sometimes the subject is hidden. Like in your class, the teacher might have commanded you to switch on the tube light, switch off the fans, isn't it? So there you is hidden, second person pronoun is hidden. So here this form of, that is be, is used to form continuous tense, used in passive and to denote a command or a plan. Wasn't there? I said it is used in case of past tense. I was writing the letter. The door was opened by Shyam. Okay, so these are the ways, okay, in which we use these auxiliaries, that is helping verbs in forming a sentence. Now have. Right now we are talking about primary auxiliaries, my dear children, and then we will talk about modal auxiliaries. So have. Present form is has, have, and past had with all the subjects. Form the perfect tense. It is used to form the perfect tense. Okay, it helps forming the perfect tenses. Like I have, with have we use V3 form of the verb. So I have completed my homework. Ma had made orange pop. Fine. And with had also we use V3 form of the verb. Now form of do. In present, the form of do are does and do itself, and past is did, my children. Okay, past form is did. Okay, where it is used to form interrogatives, imperatives and negative sentences. Do you know that girl? And question mark. Do be patient. Okay, so this is imperative sentence. So this is how these primary auxiliaries are used. You must learn the forms of be, okay, have and do. Let's move on to our next slide. So as you can see over here, how do we use modals? So basic structure will be subject plus modal plus verb. You can see the example. Marry is subject. Could is modal form of the verb. Play is your main verb that is used with this modal form. Okay. B1 form of the verb. The piano is your object. So they do not accept conjugation, that is the other forms of regular verb. They do not need other auxiliary verbs also. Now, modal verb structure. Modal verbs do not add s or es, as I told you. No change in the form to the third person singular. Okay, so this is third person singular pronoun, third person singular pronoun. So with this we will add the modals as it is. No s will be added. Okay, it will be absolutely wrong. If we see the sentence, he can swim. Fine. So this is your correct one. He can swim is absolutely wrong. So we never use s or es with the third person singular when we use modal verbs. Now, modal verbs do not have infinitives or ing form. Like, what do you mean by infinitives? Infinitives takes to plus V1 form of the verb, that is the base form of the verb. Fine. So these modals will never accept to plus can, or it will never be canning. It does not even accept this ing form. Okay. So it will never be to must. Never you can write musting. That is absolutely wrong, my dear children. Modal verbs are followed by an infinitive without to. So infinitive without to are also called bare infinitives. Okay, you can see over here. She must study. This is the correct sentence. Okay, you cannot write she must to study. That becomes or she too must study. That is absolutely wrong. We should have gone the other way. It simply means that these modal auxiliaries or these modals, they accept what? They accept base form of the verb. They accept base form of the verb. Here in this slide, we are going to study structure with modal verbs. Okay, a modal verb is followed by another verb in the base. Okay, so as you can see, I can speak English. So I is the subject, can is your modal, and we are going to use verb base form of the infinitive. That is, we are not going to use to plus verb. Okay, we are going to use base form of the infinitive. See, for an example, I can speak English. But if you say I can too speak English, is absolutely wrong, my dear children. We are not going to use to along with the verb. Okay, because we are using modals, and modals, they do accept what? They do accept the base form of the infinitive. Next is your he can speak Spanish. So we are not going to use he can speaks Spanish, because modals, they don't accept s or es. Okay, so it will simply be he can speak Spanish. Next is she can speak Spanish. So it is not going to be she can speak Spanish. That will be absolutely wrong. And one thing more, my dear children, that the verbs are not conjugated. When we use modals in a sentence, the verbs are not conjugated. It means they do not have regular forms. Like, for example, dream, okay, dreamt, dreamt, or dream, dreamed, dreamed. Okay, so these forms won't be used. So whenever we use modals, so in case of modals, we are always going to use base form of the verb. I hope it is clear to you all. Now, modal verbs in negative sentence. How are negative sentences formed in case of modal verbs? So what will be added? Subject, modal verb, since we are framing negative, so not, okay, and verb will be added to it. Fine. You must, this is the modal, okay, not, since we have to form negative sentence. Walk is the verb, base form of the verb, on the grass. You mustn't walk on the grass. While you speak, you use contraction form, but while writing, we never use contraction. Fine. He cannot speak Arabic. He can't speak Arabic. So he is your subject, can, and not. This is one word. Okay, this is not two word, my dear children. This is exceptional case. Cannot is one word. Okay, not is added. Speak Arabic. Okay, so as you can see, the examples of verb contractions of the modal verb plus not are normally possible. Fine. Okay, the negative can is cannot. Okay, not is joined to can, and the contraction is can't. Fine. And cannot is one word, my dear children. It is one word. It's taken as one word. Now, modal verbs in questions. How do we form interrogatives? So what you're going to do here also, as we know that it functions as auxiliaries. So may will be used at the beginning. Okay, then subject, then verb. Fine. So may I is your subject, and then help is your verb. Fine. May I help you? Can I have another piece of cake, please? Would you like to come with us? So here in this slide we are going to study the basic difference between primary auxiliaries, okay, and modal auxiliaries. Okay, so primary auxiliaries, as we have studied previously in the previous slide, that it form tenses. I am writing a letter. Then voices, passive formation, right? And they do not have ing. Canning, we cannot say canning, musting. So that becomes absolutely wrong. Then it forms negative and questions. Again, it forms questions and negatives. May stand alone or used with main verb. So never also stand alone and is used with main verb. Fine. Then change form according to the number and person of the subject. Very important point, my dear children. Okay, like just now, I am eating an apple. Just now we have studied that, isn't it? So in case of I was eating an apple, so forms keep on changing according to the number. Okay, like you are doing that work, he is doing that work. Fine. So it changes according to the number and person of the subject. But in case of modal, okay, it expresses a wide variety of meanings. So one concept modals are there, two concept modals. Two concept modals means it gives you wide variety of meaning. For example, I would like to give you two examples over here. Okay, that if you seek permission, you would say, may I come in? So here, may functions as a formal function, okay, as a form that expresses formal function, and then it is also used to express a wish. For that, I would like to give you an example. May you always enjoy good luck. Okay, may you always enjoy good luck. So one modal, that is may, but expressed in different forms. So that is also called two concept, that is having two meanings. Okay, two meanings, and so it is called two concept modals. So that's the reason it is written over here. It expresses a wide variety of meanings. Now help the main verb to convey the different types of actions, right? As we all know that verb indicates actions in case of primary auxiliary, but here the form does not change definitely according to the number of the person or the subject. Can will remain can, it won't be changed to cans, isn't it? Must will remain must, and plus we are going to use base form of the verb with these modals. Hope it is clear to all of you. Now one by one we are going to go through these modals. So first we are going to start with can. Okay, so use, the first uses, it is used to talk about the ability to do something in the present, and the substitute form to be able to. Okay, so it can be this can be substituted by to be able to. So example, I can speak English. So it expresses what? Ability to do something. Next, it is used to talk about permission to do something in the present. Substitute form is to be allowed to. So formal permission in case of informal permission, my dear children, as it is can, and may, formal permission. Okay, so permission to do something in the present, like can I go to the cinema. Then it also talks about request or expresses request. Can you wait a moment please? Offer, I can lend you my car till tomorrow. Suggestion, can we visit grandma at the weekend? Possibility, it can get very hot in Arizona. Okay, so here we have learned the usage of can, where this modal can be used. It is used to express ability, permission, request, offer, suggestion, possibility. So I have given you examples over here. So let's move on to the next slide. So in this slide we are going to study the use of could. Okay, so it is also used to express ability to do something in the past. There it was present. I could speak English. Okay, so past activity. Fine. Permission to do something in the past again, but and the substitute form is to be allowed to. I could go to the cinema. So past activity. Okay. Polite question, could I go to the, so this is very important. Whenever you ask question, you can use could, and it is a polite form. Okay, could I go to the cinema please? Polite request, could you wait a moment please? Polite offer, I could lend you my car till tomorrow. Polite suggestion, could we visit grandma at the weekend? Possibility, it could get very hot in Montana. Now, my dear children, these modals are expressed or used, or used according to the mood of the speaker. If you want to simply take permission, you can also, but if your permission is quite polite, okay, and if your question, if you want to ask something and you think that you need to be bit polite to a person, at that time you must use could. Okay. Now, may, possibility, it may rain today. Okay. Permission to do something in the present, substitute form to be allowed to. May I go to the cinema? Polite suggestion, may I help you? Fine. Now, might, possibility, less possible than. This is very important. Okay. So it might rain today. Okay. So possibility is there that it may rain today, but there's a weak possibility. Okay. So means it may or may not. So for that we use it might rain today. So very weak possibility is there. Hesitant to occur, might I help you? Okay. Next, must. It expresses force, necessity. I must go to the supermarket today. Possibility, you must be tired. Advice, recommendation, you must see the new film with Brad Pitt. Next. Then next is must, not, may not. So it expresses what? Prohibition. Must is a little stronger. You mustn't work on dad's computer. So it would be like you mustn't work on dad's computer. Okay. So this is a bit stronger than this, may not. So you may not work on dad's computer. So it depends on the mood of the speaker. Okay. Mode of the speaker, manner. Okay. The way in which it is expressed. So you mustn't, attitude of the speaker. Okay, so if it would be a harsh one, bit stronger, little stronger than may not, then you mustn't work on dad's computer. You may not work on dad's computer. So this would be your expression. Need not, again, something that is not necessary. I need not go to the supermarket. We are going to the restaurant tonight. So it's not necessary. So definitely we are not going to go to the supermarket. We are going to go to the restaurant tonight. Ought to, it's similar to should. Ought to sounds a little less subjective. Okay, stronger form of should, you can say. For a piece of advice, you ought to drive carefully in bad weather. You should drive carefully. So this is the stronger form. Okay. Obligation, you ought to switch off the light when you, so duty. Okay, so for this, ought to, you ought to switch off the light when you leave the. Next is should. Again, advice, you should drive carefully in bad weather. Duty, obligation, you should switch off the lights when you leave the room. Will, it tells us about the wish, request, demand, order, less polite than would. But is less polite. Okay, so would be used to be very polite, in order to be very polite. Okay, so when we need to be very polite, we use would. So will you please shut the door? Now, prediction, assumptions. I think it will rain on Friday. So this is for predictions and assumptions. We also use would. Promise, I will stop smoking. Spontaneous decision. Can somebody drive me to the station? I will. For habits, she is strange. She will sit for hours without talking. So this is, so in order to express habit, we use will. So it's easy. For wish, request, demand, order, which is less polite. Okay, it is less polite in form than would. For prediction, assumption, I've given you the examples also over here. Promise, spontaneous decision, habits, we use will. Next would. These are no past forms, they refer to the future. Wish, request, more polite than will. Would you shut the door, please? Habits in the past, sometimes it would bring me some flowers. Okay, so we have learned the use of would also. Next, we can see in this slide that we have used modals with have, okay, and past participles. So what is the structure? Subject plus modal plus have plus past participles. So subject is they, will, have, arrived is the past participle form of arrive by now. You might have seen the film. So this is one of again the structures that is used in case of modal. So you all must know this. Fine. Next, again you have the next structure over here. Don't, does not, did not, plus have to, plus base form of the verb. So subject plus don't, doesn't, didn't, plus have to, plus base form of the verb. So you don't have to, isn't it? Park, base form of the verb. Okay, so this is the structure. Fine. The car, the hotel valet will do it for you. Tim doesn't have to go, so base form of the verb. Fine. To school today, it's holiday. You didn't have to shout, everyone could hear you. Now next structure is did not plus base form of the verb. You can see the example. You did not. So these are the modal auxiliaries, my dear students. And where are these modal auxiliaries used? It is used to express the mood, the attitude, the manner of the speaker. So you need not worry about me, I'll be fine. Okay, so it's not necessary. It seems you did not worry about me, I'll be fine. So here in the last slide, I have given you an exercise which you have to do in your English copies. Okay, I hope you have understood the usage of modals, where we have to use modals and where we should take care not using it, okay, where it shouldn't be used. So do the exercise in your English copies. Thank you. Bye bye and take care of yourself.